I'm Sophia Olivas, co-founder and CEO of EverSmart City. EverSmart City is a mixed-use IRL smart community built with shipping containers to provide affordable housing powered by renewable energy. It has sustainable agriculture and is integrated with blockchain technology. The pilot city will be built in Phoenix, Arizona, breaking ground in 2023.
My name is Mark Anthony, co founder of EverSmart City. And if this is your first time checking out one of our videos, be sure to hit the like button as well as subscribe. We release videos every day, so be sure to click the notifications bell button. It should look like a bell. That way you get an alert every time we go live so you can come check out our videos. As well as we have a bunch of videos from the past that you can look at too. We got tons of information on what EverSmart is, what our missions, our goals is, how we align with all the 17 SDG goals, and a lot about shipping containers, blockchain, crypto, renewable energy, gamification, all different types of conversations. So if you'd like to get in on conversations like those, join our Discord. That's where all these conversations continue, where we like to meet everybody and learn new things. So be sure to introduce yourself and share some articles and information. We love to learn new things and see what you guys can contribute as well. And if you ever have any questions, drop them in the Discord. We come back and we answer questions from the Discord and videos just like this. And today we'll actually be answering some Discord questions.
Yeah, so this episode is dedicated to answering questions from the community on renewable energy, one of our favorite topics. So, question number one: what are the different types of renewable energy?
There's a lot of different types of renewable energy outside of fossil fuels or nuclear. One of them is solar. We all know of solar energy. Solar can come in a few different type of ways. There's these big solar panels, and they also have solar voltaic shingles or shells, which are a lot smaller and come in more of a mesh material than a panel. There's also solar panels that are specifically used for heating water, not necessarily for electricity, but for heating water. There's also solar panels that even act like a dehumidifier, where they absorb the humidity out of the air and convert it and change it into gray water or potable water. So there's different types of even solar energy. There's also wind turbine energy. There's also water, hydroponic with hydroelectric dams, or the old little water wheel. There's chargers, electric charging stations. Uh, what else, Sophia? There's a few other ones, isn't there?
Did you mention passive housing?
There's
That's a
passive
great one.
housing. There's geothermal, which is using either the coldness or the heat from inside of the earth, from deep in the crust, like a geyser, and using that heat to create air pressure, and using that pressure to power or spin turbines that can generate electric charge, or even power a battery or charge a battery.
Yeah, a great example of geothermal being used in a smart city is in El Salvador, which is the first country to make Bitcoin their currency. And they are building a smart city on the side of one of their volcanoes and using geothermal energy to power it and to mine Bitcoin. So it's bringing them right out of a third world country status, and it's going to make them a contender to be dealt with. So it's really great news. So, question number two: is it possible to power the world with renewable energy?
It is very possible. There's a lot of different nations and states and provinces taking huge steps forward in starting to take a bigger step towards using renewable energy in their power grids. You just mentioned El Salvador as one. There's also countries in the Netherlands and Finland who are using water, since they live right up on the water, to help supplement some of the other power sources that they have. States like California and Arizona. California has huge wind turbine farms, as does Arizona has huge solar farms all around the state. So there's states and governances taking huge steps towards renewable energy and looking to really make a change from nuclear and fossil fuels.
And if you want to get into a little of the cool historic Um, I don't know, maybe a little conspiracy too. There's things that you should look up called the Tesla coil. There was a method of broadcasting electrical energy without wires through the ground that possibly was never finished, that Nikola Tesla had developed and was working on prior to his demisement. And it was his long held dream was to create a source of inexhaustible, clean energy that was free for everyone. So he was strongly opposed back then to centralized coal fired power stations that spewed up carbon dioxide into the air and the humans breathed. We've got right now, the majority of the world is powered by something that is a limited resource and is damaging to the environment. In addition to that, we have something that's nuclear that a lot of people are pro for because it takes one little thing to power a lot. However, there are some aspects like in Japan that we saw that happen. There are some security and in some concerns, some grave concerns. 7 Mile Island, Chernobyl. We can go into some of those things. So when it goes wrong with those things, it could have some massive ramifications. So question number 3: why is wind and solar so expensive?
Really, what it comes down to, especially in the United States, manufacturing. Uh, since the Great Depression, America hasn't been its strongest in manufacturing. So not only do they have to source materials and find the engineering and the technology advances to build these things, but they also have to build them overseas somewhere and find manufacturers who can do these at large scale and then transport and then install. There's just a lot of processes in terms of getting operation up and running, as well as permitting with all the other things that you need other than just the solar panels themselves, the transformers, storage if you want to do batteries. There's a lot of moving pieces, and it's still so new that there's a lot of players in the game. Now, solar's been around for 20, 30, maybe 40 years, depending on how far back you want to go. But at large commercial scale, it's now just starting to kind of edge towards affordable now that there's a lot of government subsidies and rebate programs that the panels provide, or that the manufacturers provide. But the biggest thing is the manufacturing, the transportation, and the installation. Those three things are what to begin to drive up all the prices, and can make it pretty inconsistent across the industry at a global scale.
Yeah, and to sum up what Mark was just saying, the price of renewable energy will drop when the demand increases. And this increased demand triggers a spiral, which then the demand continues to rise, and then companies can afford to sell it for less, which then further drives up the demand. So that's the cycle. A good way to look at this, in another example outside of this, is organic products. So it used to be that buying organic was fairly cost prohibited. And then, if you recall, fairly recently, the costs went down. What happened and what switched was the fact of Costco then issued a lot of their products, major products, and a lot of their vendors, they required them to be organic. So if you go into, and Costco pushes out so much product, and then Walmart started picking up the pace and to try to compete with that. So once big box stores moved in and required that of their vendors, and the demand came for those products, then it was able to bring the prices down to where it was viable to buy those type of things in Costco, and then that brought the price down for everyone else. So really great fun. So the more that you ask for stuff and the more that you utilize it, brings the price down. All right, last question. How can blockchain help renewable energy be more cost effective?
The biggest thing that blockchain is really good at is um, AI assisting in terms of using data that the blockchain records on as a digital ledger and using that to help monitor different systems. So, in terms of renewable energy, one of the costs is the cost of the equipment, but then you're always trying to offset your usage, right? You're always trying to have this balance between how much your panels can produce and consume in terms of from the sun, and then how much of that you use on a daily basis. And you're always at this um, challenge of always using less than you or produce. One thing a blockchain can do is really have a better monitoring and ledger system for the devices and electricity that you use in your home. Having a smart home that um, has AI assisted technology in it that can meter all the electricity, not just from house to house and have a meter house to house, but have a meter almost from outlet to outlet and plug to plug to really understand where the electricity is being used in the house, and having that better understanding, being able to manage and use that energy more conservatively and sparingly will help you use a lot less energy. Using the blockchain as a tool to educate, to gain more understanding of the use of energy that you're using, to help you then find out where you can use less energy, is what's going to be able to make renewable energy a lot more cost effective when we get a lot smarter with our energy usage and consumption.
Yeah, so you could sum it up like this. The way that blockchain helps in renewable energy be more cost efficient is by letting go of intermediaries. Blockchain transactions lower costs, speed up processes, and the results in greater flexibility through the entire system. It leads the way to systematically more efficient, flexible, and a decentralized energy system. It also it's going to transform the renewable energy industry in many different ways, from certifying the source of green energy by allocating generation assets to a specific point of consumption, to making grids more accessible through data sharing in real time and through enabling a transaction between two parties. It's also, well, right now, before or even especially during COVID, energy consumption went way down. We were starting to meet the climate accords. We were working with the SDGs, and we were meeting those measurements. And then what pretty much counteracted it is that crypto mining came into play, specifically proof of work crypto mining. So Bitcoin came into play during COVID because a lot of people found out that instead of working, they could do this and make way more money. So, how can it help? Well, blockchain can reduce energy consumption when we switch over to proof of stake. So now people are still able to generate an incredible amount of wealth, and companies and communities like EverSmart City will be utilizing it for the community to build wealth for the community. And it's the best current option for the public blockchain to dramatically reduce its energy usage. Um, Even Ethereum consumes about 50% of the energy that Bitcoin does, but it's still a lot of energy. So, and it's currently transitioning from proof of work to proof of stake. And also for EverSmart City, the way that we utilize blockchain to make it more efficient, in addition to our customizable IoT smart system, our smart home tech, is that we allow and push that information to a public block explorer to encourage the public and developers, whatnot, to improve upon our and utilizing our data and improve upon our practices. And then we'll be hosting hackathons where we showcase the best technology and award the winners. So we really look forward to those times that come up when we can do all that. We'll be like little miniature World's Fairs at each of our EverSmart cities. So thank you so much for joining us. If you are interested in becoming the proud owner of the first ever NFT asset backed by a smart city, look down below and purchase our Founders Key NFTs. We are EverSmart City, where technology enhances the human experience.